Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bruce Konechny. Welcome to One Man's Voice. Today is January 31st, 2019. And first and foremost, I want all of you Democrats to seriously listen to what I have to say today. See, because I think your leadership needs to change their symbol of the party to the hammer and sickle. I really do. Now, you might find that offensive, and you should find it offensive. But listen to what the Democrats are doing out there. Not the party, the leadership. What they're doing. Who are the ones that are hollering racist? Who are the ones that are hollering sexist? Who are the ones that are calling the American people killers? It's not the Republicans, never has been. Nancy Pelosi signed a bill saying, "So help me God," should be taken out of the oath. Attack church. She calls herself a godly person, yet she's going to do that. Because our government was founded on the principles of the teachings of Jesus Christ and the Ten Commandments. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that. There's no higher authority in this country than the government, than the Democrat government. You know who said that? The socialist Democrats who changed their name to the Communist Party after the Bolshevik Revolution. You need to be a member of us as the Communist Party, and in order to do that, you need to denounce religion. And isn't that when you sit there and say, take God off of everything? Denouncing religion? That's what the Democratic Party is doing. Obama, you want to talk about collusion? You want to talk about the working with the Russians? Obama sat there and whispered to the president, "Tell Vladimir after the election I'll have more leeway. Selling 20% of our uranium to Russia." The list goes on. The red button, read about what the red button was all about. That is to free up Russia so they can gain more power in the world. That's the whole thing. Those are the ones who are colluding. But you are blind because you listen to the Democratic-controlled media telling you that Donald Trump is the worst thing in the world that ever happened to this country. Yet, look at your 401ks. Look at how many people in your communities are back to work making money. How welfare is down. Food stamps are down because we don't have to hand out as much. Yes, it's a difficult task. Why? Because they say, well, Donald Trump is separating the country. No, he's not. He's trying to bring the country together. But you Democrats are so blinded by the lies of the media that you don't understand. It's your own party. The obstructionist party means we're not going to do anything that Donald Trump wants us to do. They're up in arms that he got rid of the executive order on DACA. And he said, pass a bill. Yet they never passed the bill. And now with this $25 billion that he wants for the wall, DACA's in there. Some other programs that the Democrats call for are in there. He's willing to concede these programs to them. And yet they refuse to go along. Are you that blind to the lies of your own party leadership? Didn't it come to you to sit there and go, what the heck is going on here, when you found out that Hillary Clinton controlled the Democratic National Committee, that it was her money and the Democratic National Committee's money that created the dossier to try to bring down Trump? You see, she can't do it like a real person should do it. She has to lie, cheat, and steal in order to get the presidency. And a lot of the people saw that. And a lot of the people voted. Although, because of the coasts, she won more votes. But take away California and New York, Donald Trump was clearly the winner. Why? Because people saw. You Democrats that are out there, some of you actually saw what was going on. And then it came out that she owned the Democratic Party because she gave them money. She was the one making decisions for the Democratic National Committee. That it came out that they rigged the election so that Bernie Sanders wouldn't win. And then what they say? Well, he's not really a Democrat, he's a socialist, so we don't care. Is that the kind of party you want? They've turned their back with all of the regulations and the executive orders that were written, strangled the middle class and reduced the size of the middle class. Now you have socialists going in there saying we need to raise taxes to 50, 60, 70%. That's on you, people. You Democrats who voted for them in office, you ought to be ashamed. They want to do away with capitalism. Socialism is a better way. Capitalism hasn't been around that much. And AOC is correct on that. It has not been around that long. Only about 200 years, 250 years. Why? Because it was an experiment. Our country came up, the leaders of this country came up and said, this is what we want to try to see how it works. And as year after year went by and it showed that it was working year after year after year, guess what? It became the greatest system in the world. And everybody hated it. The Americans were rich, and we didn't like that, especially since we were just 13 colonies. So who are the haters? It's the socialists that are out there that hate our way of life. It's the socialists who hate the fact that the American people are the greatest land in the world, and they want to come here. There's some that will sit there and talk about how bad we are, and the others are sitting there filing paperwork to get to this country. Some of those that are filing it want to destroy it from within. Our educational system and the higher education are brainwashing our children to believe in socialism and not capitalism. Now, they call the white man racist. Well, let's seriously take a look at this, okay? For all of you black people that are out there, it was not Americans that brought you to this country, okay, first and foremost. It was the Dutch Trading Company. And the Spaniards also traded in slaves. So they were the ones that brought you here and sold you to who? Yes, the white man. And you worked for the white man and slaves. Sorry about that. Okay, that was the times. Should we go back and condemn Egypt for keeping 2 million Jews into slavery? Should they have be paid for the fact that their ancestors were slaves to the Egyptians? And how about going back even further, where the slaves were in Mesopotamia, the slaves that were in England, the slaves to the Romans. Remember the Christian slaves? They were put into a Colosseum to fight against each other and to fight against animals for survival. Slavery is a way of our life. And as we mature in our society, we need to understand slavery is wrong. America did that in 1865. And almost 100 years later, we signed the Civil Rights Act. It took 100 years. But in that 100 years, it was white men who built this country. It was white men who created the jobs. It was white men who opened their doors to allow black people to come in and start working for them. White people built this country, and you black people assault white people every single day of the week. And you Democrats are pathetic when you do something like that. Nancy Pelosi sits there and said she didn't want the Patriot Prayer Group, say that 3 times fast, Patriot Prayer Group to pray in one of the parks in San Francisco. She didn't want their vile speech, but yet she calls upon God. She takes the words, "So help me God," out of the oath, but she calls upon God. She's talking out of both sides of her mouth. In order to be a Democrat, a true Democrat, okay, not the Kennedy Democrats, but today's Democrats, in order to be that, you have to be anti-religious and pro-abortion. Cuomo, a Catholic, cheers at the fact, turns the Empire State Building, World, whatever building, turn the lights pink to show his support for women's rights to kill babies. They're the murdering party. That's why I said hammer and sickle. And when you disagree with them, they're going to beat you down with that hammer. And then, when you're ready to have babies, they'll talk you into cutting the heads off or sticking a knife up its brain, into its brain, and killing it so the babies aren't born in this country. The Democrats have become a sick, degenerated group of people. They need to be stopped. And the only way for them to be stopped, ladies and gentlemen, is for Democrats to open their eyes to the truth. Christian Democrats and Catholic Democrats. And where's the church on this? I listened to one interview with, I believe it was an archbishop. He would not condemn, because he's in New York, he would not condemn Cuomo for his actions. When we do not have the rights to do that. And it's not man versus, and I was watching an interview of a woman, there was it the Virginia governor sat there and said that even after birth, it's okay to kill a baby. And in the interview, the commentator said, "How do you feel about his words?" Plain and simple. How do you feel about his words? You men are trying to take away our rights. You men are hello. She never answered the question. All she did was go on an attack of men in this country for trying to control women's birth capabilities. Let me ask you something. In the preamble to the Constitution, which was used to support Roe versus Wade, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was used to defend Roe versus Wade. If you read Roe versus Wade, man does not have the authority to say anything. But yet in the preamble, if you take God out of it and just say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by our Creator. Our creators are one man and one woman. The only time it's not is when a woman takes some sperm donor's sperm. Then she has the right to decide whether she wants to keep that baby. But when there's a man involved, physically involved in this action, he does not have a right to make the decision whether or not that baby can be born or not. Endowed by our creators. See, they spit on the Constitution. Listen to what was said at the Kavanaugh hearings by the Democrats. The lies that came out, the accusations, the slander. And listen to the media every day, the slander that goes on against Donald Trump and the Republicans. They do not want Republicans to win anything, because if Republicans do, their party's not strong. In North Carolina, there was an election where, I believe, one of the Carolinas, let's put it that way, a Republican won. And a Democrat said, I don't understand why. We have the majority of the people. That is why all of this garbage is coming out now. But what they don't understand, for you grassroots Democrats understand, is that they believe because they own the coast, California, New York, that they have the power to say and do whatever they want. The Democratic leadership of this country is promoting hatred, promoting sexism, promoting racism by attacking and getting, again, white people attacking white people in order to accomplish this. And how the white people are racist, yet the white people built this country to give you a home, and you attack. You know what that's called? Slapping the hand that feeds you. And I'm not talking about slavery. When a business opens its doors and hires people, because of our laws today, they cannot discriminate. So they hire blacks and Latinos and Asians and Europeans. White people do that, but you attack them for it. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Democratic side, it is seriously time for you to open your eyes to the truth about what the Democratic Party is all about. They should hold on their flags the symbol of the hammer and sickle, because they're the party of death. They're the party of hatred. They're the party of discrimination. Prayer groups going out to pray are attacked by individuals who support the Democratic Party. The Democrats want to wipe away the history of America. Why do they want to wipe away the history? Because if you truly study the history, you'll understand it was Democrats who created slavery. It was Democrats who fought to keep slavery. It was Democrats who beat black people in the streets. Listen to some of my past podcasts, and you'll understand. The Democrats are the party of hate and murder. They need to have the hammer and sickle on their flag, because they truly will beat you down and cut you up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's one man's opinion. Thank you for listening. You have yourself a great day.